now on to my next guest, avid Manchester United fan, and top lad really, Dave Tatso. It's good to have you on. How are you, pal?
I'm good, Dan. How are you, mate?
Not bad, lad. Not bad at all. How are you? How are you keeping in this lockdown?
Good. Obviously, following the rules. Isolating, working from home as much as possible. Everything I can do, really. Obviously, I've volunteered to be a responder.
Yep.
It's not gone too well at the minute.
It's not.
No, I initially registered for this about when was it? They were asking for the volunteers about 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah, 5 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
And I've been on registered now. The responder. I'll tell you how many hours I've been on call. I'm just looking at my phone. I've been on call or reported on duty for 573 hours, and I had one call to go and help someone.
You had one call to help someone?
No, I've not had.
Oh, you've not. You've not. Oh, fucking hell! No. Wow.
Not had one call, and to be honest, it's really pissed me off. You can say as much as you want. They've not had to respond to something like this before, which is fine. But I was in the shops out doing our shopping 2 weeks ago. There's a 77-year-old man in front of me, got no family to help him, and he was doing his shopping. And the rules are, vulnerable people, people over 70 fall under that. It's like lambs to the slaughter. So I think the government really needs to pull a finger out their ass and get these referrals through. There's enough volunteers. I think they need for 500,000 volunteers, and I think they got 750,000 volunteers. So there's enough volunteers there. They just need to, really progress and get people, get these referrals through. So people like myself and all these other brilliant people who want to volunteer and help these people, as they call through and go and help them.
Just to obviously make everyone aware. Sorry, I'll let you do the honours. Do you want to tell everyone who doesn't know what a first responder is? Just explain.
Yeah, so first responder is just taking an initial call for it's called a check-in and chat. So you'll get someone local to you who is vulnerable and needs some sort of assistance, whether that would be going picking up some pharmacy, someone from the pharmacy for the medicines, or whether they just need a chat, someone to talk to because they're on their own and they're vulnerable. Helping with shopping. I've also signed up to be a transporter, so actually picking up medicines for the pharmacies as well and delivering that to local people as well. So,
and you've had no calls?
No calls. Like I said, 573 hours I've reported on duty for, and it's frustrating. Honestly, it's frustrating.
Unbelievable.
Really frustrating. Obviously, I'm helping, where I can with close family members. Obviously, doing shopping for mother-in-law. She's just nearly 70. Mum's got lung cancer, so she's got to isolate. She's got to be shielded and effectively can't go out. So obviously, been doing the shopping for her as well. So I'll try to do as much as I can with family, but I'm offering to help people out there, but I'm just waiting for the calls to come through.
Unbelievable. Well, from my perspective, and I'm assuming with the community watching this stream, we can only applaud you. But obviously, if people are not using what they should be using, then more fool them, eh? It's crazy. But apart from that, your family well? You're good?
Yeah, all good. Like I said, mum's at home, shielding from this, obviously for obvious reasons. But no, all the family well. Kids are doing well as well. So we're all good here, mate. We're all good.
Good. Right, should we talk some football?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Where should we start? I mean, obviously the Dutch FA have cancelled the league. As an average United supporter, I'm sure you'd like to cancel the league as well.
You know what? It's such a tough one for me. It's such a tough one. I've got there's two parts that go to this. There's Liverpool winning the league, which obviously is going to kill me. Yeah. But the other part is I really feel that the pendulum was swinging United's favour to finish fourth or third this season. So we brought Bruno in, was picking up some great points. Obviously the Derby win, we're picking up some some real momentum to finish fourth. Yeah. I'd argue. And there's a lot of talk of some big names coming to United this summer: Harry Kane, Jadon Sancho. But my thoughts are, if we're not in Champions League, I don't think they'll come. You know, Harry Kane's probably at the start of his peak of his career. Obviously, I know Sancho's up and coming, but he's still a fantastic player. But they want to be playing at the best level. And if we're not in the Champions League, I don't think they'll come. And it's whether somebody else will come in for him, who are in the Champions League. You know, Man City, Liverpool. You know, come in for him and steal them under our noses. So my heart says I want the league to end and do what the Dutch have done. Obviously, null and void the season, but my head says no. Let's continue with this season. Let's secure that fourth or third spot. Let's forget about Man City if they're going to get this European ban. You've got to take that out of the equation because, you know, European Court of Sport or whatever they're referring it to, they don't overrule what UEFA have done. So I still want us to go for it, me. I want the league to continue.
There's a message from the viewers. Null and void PL, no Champions League, no relegation. Obviously with the laughing emojis. Top 4 in Champions League, City banned, so United get 4th spot.
I'd take that. I'd absolutely take that. I just don't think that it happened. I just don't think it happened. I'd absolutely love that. But I said the thing with City, you can't guarantee that, you know, the financial fair play rule issue is going to be upheld. You can't bank on it. You can't. So I've always been one of them. You put your destiny in your own hands. Momentum was fantastic. I said some really good results. Bruno, probably the biggest impact I've seen in a long time coming into that club. And that's how I saw it. But you know, there's United fans who disagree with me and say no, null and void the season. We don't want Liverpool to win it. But yeah, the season, as much as it pains to see me, well, very good. They've been fantastic. They've been outstanding. But I care about my team getting that Champions League. So where we should be, and getting them big name players that we need to take us forward. Because I think Ollie's come under a lot of fire. And unnecessarily so. I know he's probably made a couple of dodgy moves with some of the signing, some of the initial, like giving Phil Jones another 4-year contract. That's no disrespect to Phil Jones. I just don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. But I can't fault his recruitment policy, what he's tried to do. You know, he's brought in Wan-Bissaka, you know, a young English defender, arguably the best defensive right back in the Premier League at the minute. He's got, you know, Trent Alexander-Armstrong who can get forward, but in terms of defence, I think he's probably the best right back in the Premier League. Obviously, he's brought in Slabhead Maguire, who's been pretty solid. Even more so since he's got the captaincy. I think he's really stood up and taken that role. Obviously, Fernandes he's brought him in as well. A bit too late, to be honest. Could have done with him in summer.
Yeah, good shout.
And obviously, Dan James as well. Dan James, one for the future. Probably wouldn't have played as much if the squad wasn't so small. But I think Dan James has done a pretty decent job. But he's got loads of time. He's 21, 22. He's got loads of time to develop. But you can't fault it. He's got pace.
Oh, God, he's got pace to burn on it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of Harry Maguire, he come out recently and said they're not after the Champions League spot, they're after the title. I mean, how far do you think you're away?
Probably, honestly, I think 4 more players.
Okay.
4 more players, I think we're off. I'm not talking, you know, average up and coming. To compete for the title, we need ready-made players. Obviously, at the moment, he's bringing in the up and coming players. Like I said, Dan James, Wan-Bissaka, you know, early 20s. But we'd probably need like Harry Kane. You know, he's a ready-made footballer. He's done it at Tottenham. He's done it consistently. Yeah, he's got the odd injury, but he hits 20 goals. He'll give you 20 goals a season in the Premier League minimum. So he's a ready-made player. If we go down the, you know, up and coming route, you know, we're talking like a Jack Grealish again. What is he? 23, 24. These are fantastic players. And if we go for that, like go down like the younger early 20s route, getting players at that age, I think we'll probably be a couple of seasons off. But if we get a couple of ready-made players and a couple of, you know, up-and-coming players, I genuinely think we can be challenging for that title next year. Because I'm probably going to really annoy some Man City fans here. I think Man City are on the downslide here. I really do. Silva's going to go. He's out of contract. I think you even said it, Dan. I watched obviously your interview with Full Time Devils after the derby, and they just seem that they've got a lot of players you know, probably towards the end of the career, would you say? You know, Fernandinho.
Yeah, I mean,
Silva's going to go in here. They think Aguero's got one more season. He wants to finish his career in Argentina. Is that right? You'll probably know that more than I will.
He does. He does. I mean, for me, you're ahead of us in a transition in terms of teams. Like you say, Fernandinho's 34. Aguero's going to go. David Silva's going to go. That's the spine of the team right there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sané, is he a bad egg? He's probably going to go to Bayern Munich. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Mahrez, a bit of a mercenary at times, just follows the money. I mean, if Barca came in for him after Messi left, it'd probably go there. I mean, you guys, when you brought Igalo on side, and he's been a revelation up front for you lads.
He has, but I think the difference is. It's at the front, love. I think the difference is with Igalo is he wants to play. He actually wants to play for Manchester United. Would you have signed him on a free? Probably not. But obviously we're in a bit of a tricky situation. Obviously Rashford got injured, and the fact that he's a genuine Manchester United fan, you can tell he's actually absolutely putting his heart and soul into every game he plays. And I think that sometimes you'll get that. You know, there'll be the odd City fan player who's probably not the best technically. The odd Liverpool fan, but they'll go there and they'll play their absolute heart out. And sometimes that's what you need. So that's what I'd say about it, mate.
Is there obviously with the Newcastle situation with the takeover? Is it obviously another big fish is going to join the pond if they get a back in? So I mean, what was it? 5 years ago we said top 4. A couple of years later we're saying top 6. Now it's top 7. Now it could be a top 8. Champions League places. There's only 4 teams can get in there. Is United in a good place to challenge for the top 4?
Genuinely, I think we are. If we recruit right this summer, COVID is absolutely thrown a massive, spanner in the works. So I don't know how the transfer market's going to go. Price is going to go even higher. Are they going to go lower because clubs are desperate for cash? You know, I'd expect Villa. You know, Villa. No disrespect to Villa, they were a big team a long time ago. Obviously, they've just come up to the Premier League this season. How are they coping financially with this? Are they just going to have to try and accept the quickest offer they can for someone like Jack Grealish? You know, I think we're talking, 50, 60 million. But if they're desperate for cash, are they going to take 25, 30 million? Or are they going to play and say, no, we really need 60, 70 million to keep us afloat? I just don't know how it's going to go. But I do think United will always be aiming, will be in or around the top 4. I'd like to think with a good transfer market this summer, we will be back fighting for that Premier League. I genuinely believe that because we've got some good. Like I said, you look at the average squad age; it's massive, it's absolutely massive. And I think what's impressed me the most is just younger players coming in this season. Greenwood for me has been an absolute revelation. You know, they say he studied Van Persie, and Van Persie was his idol. You can see it how he plays. You know, that's he gets in and some of the finishing. You know, Williams. I think Williams has been fantastic. You know, a right-footed player playing at left back, but playing so well at left back. You know, reminds me of like a young Dennis Irwin. Dare I argue? You know, Dennis Irwin's a hero of mine, an absolute legend. But he was a right-footed player, but he seems to have slotted in that left back position really, really well.
Yeah, Brandon Williams looks like he's got the balls to play in the Premier League. I mean, there's quite a few of these players these days just going for the Twitter, going it for the Instagram. But I think
I heard you talk about this before. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I think Brandon Williams is definitely got he's got the balls for it. Like, because every time I see him play, I think to myself, you're going to get yourself sent off, lad. You know what I mean? But he never does.
No.
I mean? It's that controlled aggression which I just don't think we see often. Especially younger players these days. I think they just try and make a name for themselves and just jump in and see what happens, you know.
Yeah. Dan, can I ask you a question? As a City fan, obviously, I know you've supported City all life. Do you think if the Champions League ban happens, do you think Pep will stay? Oh, I've caught him there. I've stumped him. I've stumped the blue. I don't think he will.
Person, well, I mean, he's come out and said that he's going to be loyal to the club and all the rest of it. And
so he said that a lot of times when he said that.
I know what you mean. But I mean, a lot of people have asked me this question, and every time I've said I'm not bothered if he stays or he goes. And now the reason why I say that is because
What he's achieved, is it?
no, it's the fact that we've got the structure in place of the club and the blueprint of how we want to play. I mean, obviously, before Pep come and he was fucking doing fullbacks into midfield and all the rest of it and all that fucking shite. But at the end of the day, we still played a 4-3-3 since 2010 ish. And I don't think I think we're like a German juggernaut. I just think we just keep on going in the same direction, even if Pep's on the boat or he's not. Do you know what I mean?
Because one thing I've always got to say, I've spoke to a few City fans, and I think for me as an Englishman, there's been times, obviously, he had some injury problems. Obviously, Laporte had a bad, was it a cruciate ligament?
Yeah.
And you know, he puts Fernandinho at centre half. And I'm sorry, Fernandinho's been a pretty good player to you as a central defensive midfielder. He's not a centre half. I'll this all day with any City fan. I think Leicester, Jamie Vardy left him for dead. All that you've got, all that money you've invested into, you know, the structure of the club. Are you telling me there's not one of them under 23s who could have stepped into that centre half role? I'm talking to City fans, and they're saying there's a couple of cracking, you know, really good looking, you know, centre halves who really do look the part, but he's just refused to play him, and he's stuck with Fernandinho. And Fernandinho's been exposed quite a few times for me. What are your thoughts on not playing really the youth? Obviously, I know there's Phil Foden in there; he's there or thereabouts on the fringes, and he'll probably look to get in the first team maybe until the end of this season. But why is he not playing? You know, the young players.
I mean, there's Eric Garcia and there's Bellis Howard in the under 23s, and when we played them in the Capital One Cup, they've been a revelation. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. The City fans I'm talking to are saying this, but why is Pep not giving them chances in the Premier League, and he's sticking with a 34-year-old Brazilian who can hardly run and gets left there by Jamie Vardy, who's 32?
His reputation, probably. He's trying to conserve his reputation. I mean, I think everybody at the club knows that we made a mistake in not replacing Vincent Kompany when he left. I don't know why. God forbid. I don't know why. I mean, to be fair, Vincent Kompany could have played another season. You know, I mean, he come back from injury. I think he'd played 5 or 6, 7 games in a row. And obviously, he was looking good. And obviously, they scored that goal against Leicester, and when it won the league. So, yeah, I mean, I don't understand why we don't fucking buy. I mean, we got slated a few years ago when we spent like 226 million on
the defence.
On defence, and all of a sudden United have to go and spend 80 million on Maguire a few seasons later. Do you know what I mean? So, but I mean, the problem is that everyone knows we've got money, so obviously the price just fucking increases like about 30%. Do you know what I mean? It's
do you think it'd take a different manager to put one of the younger lads in there? Because I think we've been quite lucky. You know, Mourinho, as much as the football was painful in him, it did give some of the youngsters a chance. Obviously, McTominay, he was a big fan of McTominay. Obviously, before that, Louis van Gaal, he gave Rashford his debut. And I was there that night against Midtjylland. You know, when we beat him. Oh God, the absolute battle! I can't remember what score it was. It was like 6-2 or something like that.
7, something, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Rashford scored 2 and scored a brace on his debut, and he looked electric. You know, Ollie's giving players a go. He's played Josh Garner in a few cup games. Obviously, Williams, who we talked about earlier, he's giving Chong a lot of a go. I don't think Chong's going to make it. I think he's a bit too lightweight for the Premier League. Just doesn't look physical enough for me. I hope he proves me wrong. I just don't think he's physical enough. But we always seem to give our youth a chance at United. So do you think it'll be a changing manager who will give your youngsters a chance? Because you're spending, you know, millions of pounds on your youth setup. You know, from under 6s when they can first start. The players must be there and the infrastructure's there. But
I think
when they're going to do it, I think is it between one player? Is it Foden that's cracked into the first team?
Well, there's a little known player called Jadon Sancho. He went to fucking Borussia Dortmund for £9 million.
I know.
You know what I mean? So, and all of a sudden he's the next best thing, and he's £120 million, and it's just like, I mean, I don't understand who in the club would let that type of player go. I mean, obviously he's demanding first team football. I get that, but then we go and spend. I forget how much Sané cost. I think it was 32.5 million. Let's go and get Sané from Schalke. at the same time as we let Sancho go to Dortmund for £9 million, and it's just like, hello. I mean, he's been in our youth setup since he was, I think he was 10-year-old, and we got him from Watford, and it was just like, he's been playing in the setup for 6 years. Just give him a fucking chance. Like, I mean, obviously Phil Foden's a Manchester lad from Stockport, Sports City all his life. I get why he's stuck around, but over the last couple of seasons, I'm thinking, go out on loan. You know what I mean? But then it's like, well, you get taught under Guardiola, and you mix him with all these players, and it's just like,
yeah. I think we've been really lucky with Ollie, because, like I said, I think the start of the season, McTominay was playing absolutely brilliant. Obviously, then he got a bad injury. He was out for a couple of months, and then obviously came back, scored that 45-yard screamer in the derby. You know, when don't know what Everton were doing that day. Yeah, I thought he started coughing then. But I think McTominay has been an absolutely great player for us this season. He's still got loads of time, and again, it's what I was saying before about like that young squad that he's building. They're all like, not all of them, but most of them are like when they were early 20s. 2, 3, 4 seasons, I think we'll be absolutely challenging for it. I think we'll bring that forward if we get a couple of world-class players, ready-made players, and a couple more of them other players that are fringe of greatness. Like I said, Grealish, he's playing fantastic for Villa. Can he do it in a big club? I'd like to think so, because I watched the United Villa game, and the only way Jack Grealish was fouling him. I think he was the most foul player on the day.
Yeah.
I think it was in double figures. Fred had to do him over a couple of times. Just the talk of James Maddison as well. Really creative. But yeah, I think we've got a really good chance in these next few years. Like I said, it all depends. For me personally, as a United fan, I don't know what other people are saying, but it depends how this transfer market goes.
I'm going to say the talk on James Maddison's kind of cooled a little bit, because I reckon because obviously Leicester are going to be in the Champions League next season if the season gets completed. So maybe he's thinking, I might just stick around at Leicester for a season and get Champions League football.
And each on, and I don't blame him. Grealish is in a relegation battle, isn't he? So it'd be a fool not to go to Manchester United, who hopefully will be in the Champions League. It just depends what they're going to do with the league. Like I said, are they going to play? They're talking about playing it behind closed doors. What are they all going to wear masks? Is every single one of them going to get tested for coronavirus? I don't know how they can do that. I genuinely don't know how they can. It's all about the money, isn't it? That's what it comes down to. It must be about money. But I watched the United game in the Europa League. When COVID just come out, I had to play it behind COVID. Just play it behind closed doors. It's not the same without the fans. The fans with football.
Yeah. Is that the game when Igalo scored that goal?
Yeah, that goal, when he chips it up and need it, and then put it into the top left-hand corner.
It's a strange one, because like I was saying this last week on the last week's live stream. You need first responders there. You need an ambulance there at the ground. If anything happens in the game. Because what happens if you play behind closed doors? The NHS is stretched, obviously. There's no first responder or medical team at the ground. There's always like just first aid. What is something like for Bruce Malamba, when he just collapsed on the ground and he can't breathe? I mean, what's happened then? It's like you say, too much money in football.
But we have seen some bad things happen in the Premier League, certainly injury-wise. I said that Malamba, I remember that Bolton, weren't it? Obviously, was it Bolton versus Tottenham? Had a heart attack.
Yeah.
We've seen some bad leg breaks. Remember Djibril Cissé, who used to play for Liverpool? Yes. Wasn't a bad tackle. There's been some bad tackles, but he just fell awkwardly and broke his leg in 2 places. So, you've got to. I don't think that until this COVID thing is all over and done with. And I think the longer it goes on, that's when you've got to be looking. I think it's a bit premature what the Dutch League have done of cancelling it. Personally, I think it's a little bit too early, because there's no Euros this year. Obviously, that's been cancelled. We could be arguing, end of May, early June. Could we be in a better place and let people play football? Possibly not. But I think it's just a little bit premature for me what the Dutch have done.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's I think because isn't it the Dutch government have suspended all social events until the 1st of September?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think obviously the Dutch FA have gone, well, fuck it, we'll just cancel the league.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see why. I can see why they've done it. I totally get it, but I think AZ Alkmaar was same points as Ajax, but like 8 goals behind on goal difference.
Yeah.
I think the Dutch FA are going to put teams forward for Champions League and UEFA Europa League spots for next season. But then, obviously, Pardew's Den Haag Dutch team, they were in relegation spot, and obviously they've just been saved as well. So, I mean, like I said, there's good points and bad points for cancelling the league, and
yeah. Well, you know me, mate. Like I said, I've been United fan all my life. It's the teams in the lower leagues that I'm worried about. How badly is this affecting them? You know, who rely on ticket sales on the day, paying the players, and that's why I worry about. You know, obviously I'm a local lad. You know, your Oldhams, your Rochdales. Obviously, we've seen Bury already go out of existence at the beginning of the season. But it's like, you know, your Oldhams, your Rochdales, and not just as a Mancunian, but you've got, you know, all the other little smaller teams. How are they going to cope with this? That's what worries me. I'll be very surprised if some of these clubs are still going when this is all finished. I'll be very surprised. You know, is there like 24 teams in League Two?
Yeah, 24
teams in there. I don't think there'll be 24 teams starting next season. I genuinely don't. I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong, but I can't see how they're surviving without the money, because they must be on the fringe of, you know, in the books every week. You know, with the odd sponsorship deal and obviously the ticket sales.
Yeah, I mean, I was like I said, I was saying, like surely I'm not saying give them handouts. I'm not saying that, but like they're saying the revenue for the TV money, like push that forward instead of just waiting until next season. But then could they survive on that? Because like you say, you've got the fans, they've got the ticket sales, they've got merchandise, they've got
food and drink on the day.
food and drink
It
on the
all
day,
adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I went to the Halifax game, the last game before.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was surreal because I walked in, it was just like a ghost town, and all of a sudden these fans go out of nowhere. It's just a tight knit ground, a tight knit community. I think there's only 3,000 fans there. But it's like
more than Man City, to be fair.
Right, I'll slide.
Have to get a little dig in there, Dan. Come on, you know me better than that.
But I think it was like 2 items for £6. You know, like a pie and a pint for £6 at Halifax, and that's what they live on. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously raffle ticket sales and all the rest of it, and it's just fucking. It's just unprecedented.
But what are your thoughts on like the 30% pay cut? What's I'm confused about this, really. What it's for?
30% pay cut. I mean, does it stay in the club? Where does it go to charities? Does it go to the NHS? Where does it go? Because for me, it goes to the prawn sandwich brigade's pockets. Do you know what I mean? It stays within the club to keep the club afloat, but then you've got other clubs out there, like you say, that could turn into fucking Bury. Do you know what I mean? And just die. But I mean, I don't agree with Roy Keane when he come out the other day and said, you know, the players shouldn't have to take a pay cut and all the rest of it. I mean, they're at home on fucking 120 grand a week. 120 grand a week on they sat at home and not playing football. Do you know what I mean?
I'm probably going to be slated for this. It's probably a bit controversial, but as on their wages, on their salaries, it is taxed. The more money they earn, the more tax. You know, the more they get taxed, and that tax money goes back into our society. It goes to, you know, it does go to the NHS. It goes to everywhere. So it's a double
double-edged sword,
in my opinion, because like I said, you start taking money off them, then the NHS don't get as much money. So if you give them all a 30% pay cut, you're effectively taking away the tax on that would go to potentially go to the NHS. I don't think they should be taking pay cuts personally. Well, the problem you've got, not every club's different. You've got clubs like United, City, Tottenham, Arsenal, bankrolled by billionaires. You know, they've got multi-million pound investment.
Yeah.
Argue they could afford to take a pay cut and it not affect their day-to-day running. But then your teams at the lower end, you know, your Brightons, your Villas, you know, your Southamptons, the people who are in a relegation battle, that money's probably a lot more precious to them. But I think taking the money off them, making them have a mandatory 30% pay cut, I personally think it's a little bit harsh because, like I said, that does generate tax.
Okay.
But what I do think, which has been quite responsible, they've done like, you know, an alliance. They're all donating money, donating a certain part of the wage, which obviously is not mandatory, but it should be expected of them, you know. And they're all putting into the pot, and that's going to the NHS. I personally think that's better. So are getting taxed as normal. They're on the full pay. They're getting taxed as normal. Plus, they're making a contribution as well. Donating the wages. Which I think's really positive. I think just giving them all a 30% pay cut, and it's like I said, where does that money end up? It probably goes in the back pockets of the people who own
them.
Yeah.
So I think they just sit back and just let the world go around. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't know if you've seen the question before, but we're doing a Hall of Fame for Stand Up 442.
Okay.
We're making it fair, so
Okay.
all the teams that have ever played in the Premier League will get to choose 2 players from each of their clubs to get in the Hall of Fame. Now, obviously, you've got a lot of players to choose from.
Yeah.
Mine was Giggs and Scholes from the Premier League era. What would your 2 be?
Dan, you've got me there. You've really put me on the spot. Again, you get a lot of football fans saying he wasn't at the club long enough, blah, blah. It's got to be Cristiano Ronaldo. He'd be my number 1 pick. For me, technically, he's the best Manchester United player I've ever seen. We've got loads of legends down the years. Obviously, your recent legends like your Giggs and your Scholes, and then but you got your George Best, your Charltons, your Dennis Laws, all them. I didn't see them play, your Dennis Laws and Charlton. So, we're talking Premier League era on. I think, obviously, he went to Real Madrid just at the very early stages of his peak, but he still had a fantastic season after the World Cup incident with the winking incident with Rooney. Yeah. Then he came back. Then he had his 42-goal season. Then he stayed for another season. Still scored about between 25 and 30 goals. So for me, Cristiano Ronaldo has to be in that dream team. Has to be. He's arguably one of the best players ever. He's up there currently with Messi. There's no one else who can touch him, in my opinion. So he'd be number 1. My second one, I've got so many choices, Dan. You see, I've got a favourite player. But everyone's going to say Scholes, Giggs, throw Roy Keane in there. But my best player was Ronaldo, who I've seen. But my favourite player, who I think is massively underrated, I'm going to say it, Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Okay.
Ruud van Nistelrooy was an out-and-out fantastic striker. Everyone say, he's just a poacher. He was way more than a poacher. He's in the game against Derby, picks the ball from the halfway line, sprints past everyone, and just makes the finish look so easy. I've seen him chest it with his back to goal turn and volley it. For me, he was the complete striker. As an out-and-out striker, there was a bit of row between him and Henry. No doubting Henry was, an amazing player. But I think he was a little bit more to his game, Henry. He could play as a bit of a forward rather than as an out-and-out striker. But as an out-and-out striker, Ruud van Nistelrooy for me was an amazing player.
Yeah, I like this debate because obviously you've got different people from different eras. Because obviously I've got a couple of fans saying Giggs and Eric Cantona. I've got people are saying Beckham's got to be in there for what he's done for football. So it opens it up to quite a lot of interesting choices. Yeah, I mean Cristiano Ronaldo, he was definitely he was there. It was like Scholes and like it was just but I had to put Scholes in there.
Oh, of course, mate. Look, listen, I appreciate one thing I'll say, Matt, as a City fan, you do appreciate, I've seen some biased fans all over, like not just City fans, but Liverpool fans, proper bias. There's always the argument about who's the better, Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard. And obviously I'm not going to divulge on that, but we've had some, without being too big, we have had some fantastic players over the years. Scholes was, amazing. Giggs, Beckham, Roy Keane, Ferdinand, Vidic, arguably the best ever keeper, Peter Schmeichel. I think Van der Sar came in, did an absolutely exceptional job. And again, at the latter stage of his career, I think he was in late 30s when he joined United, and obviously was playing to like early 40s. But like I said, I've gone on actual technical ability. Ronaldo was the best for me. There was nothing he couldn't do. Had a right foot, left foot, headers, free kicks, dribbling, flair, skills, everything. And then I said, for my choice, I picked my favourite player just because he was a hero of mine. That's Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, I mean that free kick that Ronaldo scored against Portsmouth was something else, man.
And he just
It's one of them goals where you just look at your mate, and you just go open mouth and just don't say a word. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, what a goal that was. But again, I've had, obviously, as everyone knows, I'm a City fan, but I had a. I don't know if you've seen the thing on Facebook during the lockdown where it's like pick your favourites, favourite team, favourite team, all the rest of it. Favourite goal was one I picked out, and it was Rooney's over a kick against City. That was my favourite goal of the
I think I saw that. I was surprised that a City fan said that. Yeah.
Well,
but that just that proves a point, Dan, that once you're a City fan, you are a football fan, you do appreciate that was an amazing goal.
Fucking hell, Jesus Christ! I mean, if Ronaldo can get a big standing ovation for his over a kick against Juventus, I mean, Rooney should get a fucking statue for that goal. The technique was just fucking unbelievable, especially when the cross came in from Nani and it got deflected and he had to readjust his body, and still to get it in the top corner was something else. So
yeah,
I think Goody's trying to connect, but it's just not happening, is it?
Is he trying to connect? Is it?
Yeah, it's not happening. Don't know why though. But yeah, I think so. Some of the people that's used to come on, I think a Chelsea fan was supposed to come on. He's not. I don't think he's having it now. So unfortunately, I'm not. Come on.
You're dragging this out a little bit longer, right? Do you want to chat about England? England as a football team.
You can. Hey, listen, the floor's yours, mate. You can.
I don't think we've really. No one's really spoke about England team at the minute and what our chances are. Obviously, the Euros now has been put back a year, and I think that has been a blessing in disguise. Kane coming off the back of an injury, Rashford coming off the back of an injury. Me and my stepson Dylan, he's nearly 11. He absolutely loves football. He's a City fan for his sins. So we were talking about England, and we talked about our midfield and our forwards and what that could be at the Euros next year, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Sterling, Rashford, Kane, Maddison, Sancho, Grealish, and I probably missed out a couple of what you'd say, a forward plays there as well. But that is a absolutely belt. That will cause any team in that European Championships.
It should do, shouldn't it? It should do.
Defense. You've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who gives you an option going forward. You've got Wan-Bissaka if you want a solid out-and-out right back who's not going to let you down. You've got Maguire, Gomez, Chilwell, Shaw. I think the big issue we've probably got is, are you going to play net?
Dean Henderson for me.
Dean Henderson, he's been phenomenal, hasn't he? Let's be honest, he has been phenomenal for Sheffield United this year. Absolutely phenomenal.
Ben Watson's had a good season, though.
Who has?
Ben Watson.
Yeah.
No, not Ben Watson. Ben Foster. What was I saying?
I think he's a bit too old, though, isn't
he? Yeah.
But I think for me, Pickford, he's never had a bad game for England. He's not. I know he's made a couple of houses. I think the one in the derby, he tried to tip it.
Oh, what?
This season when he tried to tip it over the bar.
No.
Yeah, it was terrible. He's never had a bad game for England, obviously. He's been our hero. The penalty shootout against Colombia. And then, the Euro Nations. What did we get? Was it third place? We were in the third place playoff, weren't we? And I made a save in the net there. I don't think he's had a bad game, but the problem is we've been here before with goalkeepers. Last minute, Paul Robinson made a howler in a qualifier where I think someone passed it back to him. Went to Divot, went over him. So they brought in Scott. Was it Scott? I think it was Scott Carson.
Scott Carson, yeah.
They brought Scott Carson in, and he had an absolute shocker against someone like Croatia. We've seen it with Rob Green against I think that was the World Cup in South Africa against the USA. Made a howler.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go with Henderson, you've got to bet him in and play some games. Obviously, now, as I said, now there's no Euros. I wouldn't have thrown him in at the deep end at the Euros. I wouldn't have done that. I don't believe in doing that. They have got to gain some experience, even if it's friendlies. Obviously, I think there's talk of another Nations League, isn't there? There'll probably a few qualifiers for the World Cup this year, and a few friendlies. Throw him in there, start him, give him 5 or 6 games. Don't throw him in at the deep end. But I think our chances next season, again, depending that we don't get any injuries, like I said. So as the back end of this season, we were quite lucky. I said Rashford was touch and go whether he was going to make it. I think the same with Harry Kane as well. But I think England I think we could win that next year. Genuinely, for the first time in a long time, I genuinely think we could win the European Championships next year. What?
Who's
the same?
Who's your back four?
Well, I think personally, probably going to get a bit of slating from the Liverpool fans today watching this. With all that forward line we've got, let the forwards go forward. Let Sterling and Sancho get forward. So I think you need a bit more cover at right back. So I think Wan-Bissaka is a better defender than Trent is. So I'll probably keep Wan-Bissaka at right back, Maguire and Joe Gomez centre half, and then Chilwell left back. That's what I'd be going with.
Chilwell left back. Okay.
Solid.
Chilwell left back. Okay. Yeah.
Why are you thinking left back? Luke Shaw?
Brandon Williams. I honestly, because like,
you're really impressed with him, aren't you? I said like, he's not done United this season. I think he scored a couple of goals.
It's because every time I see him, I think to myself, if I was in a team with him, you know what I mean? And it's just like if I was the left winger in front of him, I could bomb forward and not even worry about defending. Because this guy has got it. Do you know what I mean? He's mobile. He's heavy in the tackle, but he's fair. He's got balls. You know what I mean? He's just got the full package. I know he's got a right foot because he's playing at left back and all the rest of it. I get that, but he's played left back for United for so many games. So
you wouldn't know he was a right back. It's not like he's
yeah.
He does genuinely use his left foot, doesn't he? So
it's Again, you're a bit controversial with Bissaka, but I'm a bit controversial with left back bringing for Brandon Williams.
Everyone goes on about Trent. Yeah, don't know what he's done this season. It's been brilliant, but sometimes you need to defend, and I don't think he's the best defensively. I'm not saying he can't defend. I'm not saying that at all. I just think Wan-Bissaka, how many times he had Sterling in his back pocket this season? Just couldn't get past him.
I know.
I've never seen him miss a tackle, mate. Technically, he's the best tackler we've got at our club. He's got, I think they call him spider legs. He's got, he just manages to wrap people up and tackle. He's been a fantastic addition for us this season. He really has. And he'd be my start. If you're arguing, if you're going with a wing back, you probably would go with Trent. But if you're going with back four, because Southgate kind of had a back three, didn't he? Because he had Kyle Walker as a back three with Laporte. Not with Laporte, sorry, I'm thinking of City there. He had Maguire and John Stones. So if he's going to go for more of a flat four, because you think you've got to try and get as many of them forwards in as you can. Obviously, you don't want to pack it out and have too many players playing out of position. You want to get that. I think you want a solid back four, and then everyone else up the pitch try to score the goal in. Because we've got creativity in Maddison and Grealish. You've got penetration through Sancho, Sterling. You've got goals galore coming from Rashford, Kane. It's formidable, mate.
Yeah, I mean, if you played a 4-3-3, you could have Grealish, Maddison with Henderson in midfield.
Yeah, you'd need a CDM, wouldn't you? Obviously,
and then you'd have
the team sheet.
You'd have Sterling one side, Sancho on the other, and probably Kane or Rashford up front.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, I'd like to have defensive stability down the side. So I'm not saying Trent Alexander-Arnold can't defend. Do you know what I mean? But
no, I'm not saying that either. I just think Lukaku was a better as a defensive right back. I know the game's evolved. And it's all about wing backs these days, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you do have to defend. How many times have England let a goal slip in? In the last 10-15 minutes of the game when we've won 1-0 and dominated and not got the second goal, and then we've ended up either losing or drawing. I remember it in the Euro 2004. I think we were 1-0 up against France. Beckham missed a penalty.
Yeah.
And then he scored 2 goals because we couldn't hold on to it. And sometimes it's too obsessed with going forward, trying to kill the game rather than seeing a result out. And to see a result out, you need players who can tackle and are strong.
Yeah, I mean, I was gutted about this year because obviously with all this kicking off a standard 4-4-2, I had my room booked at an hotel close to Wembley for the Euros final. That was planned. I was going to go down for the FA Cup final. It was going to all kick off. Do you know what I mean? All this has come on. It's just like fuck. But yeah, no, I can't wait for the season to start again. Can't wait till football comes back, and then I can go out and meet all the fans from around the country.
Everyone's missing it out. Let's be honest. Everyone, men, women, kids. My missus is a massive City fan. Football. Yeah, I mean, the house pretty much full of blues. He's a red. Even my eldest, Jamie, he's a blue. He's got that off. He's a big stepbrother. But everyone's missing football. You know, we need it. We need it back, but obviously not at the extent of, you know, say costing people's lives. Let's be sensible. It will come back. It's not going to last forever. It'll last a bit longer than what people are hoping, but you know, it's going to be back soon. It will be back soon.
I think I've got. I think I might have to stop and refresh the stream because for some reason after an hour of recording, I need to fucking refresh it. I need to sort something out anyway. But yeah, I can get Goody on in a second. But yeah, before you go, if you'd like to obviously take the floor and give everyone a message as to what to do in the coronavirus and just tell them off, really, Tats. You know what I mean? Because
no, first and foremost, Dan, I think we've just got to just say a big pat on the back to yourself. What you're doing, 8-hour marathon, sitting here chatting shit with all those football fans, Reds, Blues, Spurs. I know you've had them all on today. I think what you're doing is absolutely brilliant. Obviously, any of my friends who are watching this, obviously, don't forget to go on the Just Giving page. And last time I looked, you on about £90, which is really good.
I've just had a quick look now. It's 140.
So. 140 there. I brought some bit more business info, mate. Yeah. Yeah. So, but regarding COVID-19, guys, just stay at home. If you can work from home, do it. Just be safe. Just use your head. Just don't be stupid. All you got to do is just use your head. Just keep things nice and simple. Don't be going up meeting with loads of people. Just
just be sensible. Another time.
Yeah, exactly. I think you need to, mate. Look a bit white there. I think you've been in that.
Well, I've got the studio lights on, mate. So fucking...
Exactly. I think you need to get a retractable roof. Like they do at any stadium.
Oh, okay. I mean, my landlord will call it a duplex. Then I'll get double rented, mate. Right, nice one. Appreciate it, and I'm sure I'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on, Dan. Really appreciate it. Stay safe. Thank you.